to today's flight review. Today we'll be flying from Queenstown to Christchurch, New Zealand on Air New Zealand's domestic aircraft, the A320. Today we'll be flying economy, and let's get going. Today's flight time is 1 hour and 5 minutes. We'll have a cruising altitude of 25,000 feet. And our route today will take us over the Southern Alps and into Christchurch. But before we head off, I wanted to mention that we stayed in Pepper's Beacon in Queenstown. It's a really cool little spot just a few minutes away from the town centre, and it has all the amenities you could think of. Now, enough about the hotel. Let's head to the airport. Although small, Queenstown Airport is the home to many airlines, such as Air New Zealand, Jetstar, Qantas, and Virgin Australia. During my time, however, the Australian airlines weren't flying there because of COVID-19. Enough about the airlines, let's head into the airport. Queenstown Airport is by far one of my favorite airports to fly through. Their attention to detail is everything. I really like their statues of the native New Zealand people, the Maori, standing outside. Like so many other airports worldwide, Queenstown Airport is taking COVID very seriously, with social distancing measures in place and hand sanitizer stations everywhere you can look. My first thought when entering the airport is by far coziness. I really like the wooden panels Air New Zealand has chosen for their check-in counters. It really brings a cozy aspect to the airport. In the distance, you can see the check-in counters of other airlines, but we'll come back to those later. Air New Zealand offers premium check-in for premium passengers. Today, we're going to be using the self-check-in counters, which you can find an ample amount located in the Air New Zealand check-in area. I've never used an e-gate before, but it was really easy. I just had to scan my vaccine pass, as well as another QR code Air New Zealand sent to me a couple days earlier, and the counter flashed green, and my boarding pass was delivered to me. Coming back to the other airlines, you can see that these self-check-in counters are compatible with all three airlines, but if you have trouble, there are always the check-in desks there as well. Leaving the check-in desks behind, let's take a look at the airport. To my right, you can see the security screening area. And coming back to my left, you can see a well-known New Zealand icon, Paper Plus. You can buy all your duty-frees, magazines, and even books. Moving onwards, you can see Remarkable Sweet Shop, one of the best sweet shops in the world. Moving on to eateries, Espresso is a great place to grab a quick bite, both offering cold and hot foods. Here is Gate 1, used for passengers flying the ATR 72. Coming back to Espresso, they have a showcase of all of Air New Zealand's great aircraft, such as the ATR 72, Boeing 777, and their 747. Surprisingly, they even have the Douglas DC-10 on showcase. Another really cool thing the cafe has done is sealed these aircraft magazines into the table, such as Wings, Fly Past, and many others. And with no time to spare, let's head through security. Leaving security behind, I noticed that they're doing this part of the airport. The tunnel leads us out to the main waiting area of the airport. This place used to be filled with duty-free shops, but they've all been closed now due to COVID-19. But what isn't is the Manaya Lounge, and that's something really cool to see, as most of the airports I've been to, all the lounges have been closed. Upon boarding, you can grab yourself a Care in the Air kit, which is Air New Zealand's hygiene kit. We'll be taking a closer look at that later on in the video, but for now, it's time to board. I grab my ticket out of my pocket and scan it against the QR code reader. Another thing I really like about Queenstown Airport is that you get to walk up to the plane since they don't have any jet bridges. This gives me a closer look up to the aircraft we'll be flying. As I get directions to my seat, my heart starts thumping with excitement. I haven't been on an Air New Zealand flight for over several years now, and the sleek black interior of the aircraft always gets me excited. Let's take a quick look at the seat. We'll be taking a closer look at this later on in the video, but it's good to see that they have in-flight magazines, something which is now a luxury. I don't say this very often, but listen to our very comedic first officer.
We are about to explain the safety procedures for this aircraft, and while I do appreciate you've probably seen it before, we still haven't watched it as much as we have, but they still expect us to follow it as well. So your attention for the next 4 minutes 15 seconds would be greatly appreciated. Please note if you are currently wearing headphones or earbuds, it is a requirement that these are removed during the safety video. I suspect if you're wearing them, you didn't hear a word of what I just said anyway.
Now, under the first officer's very wise words, let's watch Air New Zealand's very famous safety video.
None are in New Zealand. So today, let's make submissions for the 8th. And the obvious choice is Milford Sound. It's more than just the north and south.
Whoa. Why don't we visit some of these places?
That way, you can see them for yourselves.
Are we going to be in a safety video?
Here is the full taxi and takeoff footage. Feel free to skip ahead. Coming away from that beautiful takeoff, let's see what Air New Zealand offers as amenities on their short domestic routes. As you can see on their IFE screen above, you can notice that they offer a quiz. This is a really cool thing to keep young children occupied, as well as to keep you up to date on their general trivia. On Air New Zealand, not only do they offer entertainment on screen, but also out the window. I mean, just look at this valley filled with clouds. That's why we're also known as the land of the long white cloud. Now, let's get back to the amenities. Air New Zealand offers quite a humorous sick bag, as well as a magazine, which is something not found commonly nowadays. I definitely found my favorite pages, including their travel maps and itinerary. Let's take a look at their hygiene kits, taking care in the air. As you can see, it comes in a white envelope, and inside of that is a mask as well as a hand-safe antibacterial wipe, which is simple but safe. On to the bathroom review. In the middle, there's obviously your toilet. Coming up above it is the baby changing area. Coming to your left is your well-known A320 large mirror. Hey there. Underneath it, you can find the sink with a soap dispenser, as well as a whole lot of toilet paper. Coming back around, you can find your drying towels, as well as an air conditioning unit. You can also find a large light, as well as some toilet paper rimmers. Coming back round to the door, you can notice an ashtray, as well as a coat hook, and your lock. Moving on to the seat review. The seat itself is a bit old, but has a great amount of width and a very comfortable headrest. The legroom is exceptional, knowing that they use these aircraft mainly for domestic routes. On top of that, you can find your pouch, as well as a tray table. This tray table is exceptionally sturdy, most sturdy than other airlines I've flown on. After finishing struggling to put back that tray table, let's look at the dark void under the chair. As you can see, there are no USB ports to charge your phone. Above you, however, you can find AC ports and lights. Moving on to the food selection. On my way to Christchurch, I only received this cranberry muesli bar, but on the same flight but backwards, I received a bag of popcorn as well as a vegan cookie time. Something important to note though is all the food is served when you are disembarking in a little tray, which you will see at the end of the video. Moving along after these stunning views, we approach into Christchurch. Overall, I really enjoyed this flight. I feel like Air New Zealand knocked it out of the park with their domestic economy class product. The cabin crew were as spectacular and friendly as ever, and the views were exceptional, which is all you really need. But another bonus I want to highlight was definitely that in-flight magazine, something that the cabin crew actually let me keep. So another thanks to Air New Zealand for that. Now enjoy the landing. Here are some cool shots at Christchurch Airport. Feel free to skip ahead. Moving along, it's time to disembark. Something interesting about this aircraft, however, is that the lavatory is located by the galley at the very end of the aircraft, like this, instead of the side. You can see that food is served in a little box at the end. And after leaving, we are greeted by a grey and gloomy Christchurch Airport. If you really enjoy my content, please consider checking out my Patreon below. Now, one thing I want to mention is that Christchurch Airport offers a little area for kids to play chess in the terminal, and I think that's a great idea. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.